Hello everyone, myself Dr. Kashish Gupta. I'm working as a assistant professor in the Department of Biotech, School of Sciences, Noida International University. Today I would be telling you about a small online course which has been recently introduced in our university for the MOOC online courses. Under the MOOC online courses, nanotechnology, the science of the invisible. This course can be useful for all the engineering sciences students and all the new layman people who want to know the tidbits of nanotechnology. Basically, this nanotechnology field has been a hot topic, what I say, recently, and everybody nowadays is just wondering about the nanotechnology and its applications in daily to daily life also. Moving forward, first of all, I would like to mention as per the course requirements, there are certain the prerequisites of the course which I have already told you, that a basic knowledge of all the sciences, basic knowledge of the engineering techniques is needed. And what will the student get as a program outcome? He will be able to understand the concepts of the nanotechnology and what are the synthesis mechanism of the nanotechnology. Most importantly, they will also get to know about how this nanomaterials has been of uh, varied uses in their daily to daily life, their impact, and furthermore how in the future they can use it for varied applications. Nanotechnology uh, Nanotechnology is basically the manipulation of materials at the atomic or the molecular level. And these days we can get to know the many nano devices available in the market, which the people are very easily and are user friendly, and each one is having at least one or two devices at their home. The most popular example is the use of the diabetic sensor machines in our homes, and also uh, we have the earplug machines based on the nano chips, which are helping immensely the people in need of. Nanotechnology concept is not what we say is not a very latest one, but its origin dates back to behind the 9th century. It has been quoted. Nano, if we consider our human body also, in a human body, our genetic material, the DNA, is also a nanomaterial, and it is a huge surprise for everyone. As we move forward, we also see the different civilizations, how they were using the nanomaterials without naming it as nanomaterials. The most important thing which everybody must be having in their mind, why the nanomaterials? Why not the regular one, the micromaterials only? Nanomaterials has been seen as we compared the other micromaterials or any materials in this range of the centimeter millimeter. It has been so popular because of its surface area per unit volume is very high. We can take it as a very small example. Say we have a one big cube of the 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter in dimensions, and the same cube, if we have small 1 millimeter cubes out of depths, so what we will see, how this small cubic structure immensely enhances the surface area per unit volume of the same box, and how the surface area matters in terms of the catalysis everybody must be knowing. In the chemistry, for any chemical reaction, surface area is the most crucial property for any catalytic reactions. So these nanomaterials are able to not only able to catalyze very well any chemical reactions, but it can also have the capacity to load on it, because as a surface area it can act as a carrier also. It can carry immense large amount of products in a very less area. So it is a basically a portable. So portability is increased. Before having a total different the theoretical aspects, or what are the different types of nanomaterials, it is very important we get to know how this nanomaterial story came into being. It all dates back to 1959, when the Richard Feynman, in his American Physical Society annual meeting, he quoted a wonderful statement. He quoted the statement, "There is a plenty of room at the bottom at the Caltech University," that is the California Institute of Technology. The plenty of room at the bottom basically signifies how this small thing has a big benefits. This nanotechnology era has been in a very random way has been divided into what we say the ancient period and the modern era. In the ancient period, we get to know how in the 4th century it was used by the Romans in form of colored glasses, and then by the British Museum as the Lycurgus cup, the famous cup, and how the church windows in the medieval era, they make use of wonderful nanomaterials without knowing they are using that. And then come back to the 9th and 17th century, when in the Islamic world cluster there were heavy use of nano products. Then came into the 16th century, there was basically called as a renaissance in the field of poetry by the Italian people. Then 13 to 18 we get to know the word the Damascus. Damascus steel was considered as the most rugged, tough steel. And then gradually the era of the science field, the real science came into being, and then the Michael Faraday first of all used the term ruby, 1857. Ruby is a wonderful precious stone, as we all know. Similarly, parallelly, what we see, there was a huge developments in the instrumental aspect. What do we say instrumental aspect? The nanotech part aspect. In the 1879, the CRO machine. 1895, the X-ray diffraction machine. 1928, the Raman machine. 1937, the SEM, electron microscopy higher counterpart. Then 1938, the Tier 1, the TEM. Then 1969, XPS. 1981, STM. Then gradually the AFM and many others, which are able to do the live streaming also. Coming into the second part, we have the modern era of the nanotechnology. The modern era of the nanotechnology basically has an interdisciplinary aspect. It clubs all the sciences, the chemistry sciences, the computer sciences, the biological sciences, the physical sciences. As per the chemical sciences field, if we talk about what is a specific component which is very active, it is the buckyballs. The buckyballs came into being in the 1985, and it became so popular as a wonderful material. Then in 1991, we have the carbon nanotubes, and 2004, the wonderful material graphene. Then they came into the carbon dots, the the quantum dots, better known as the quantum dots. This is basically in the part of the chemistry. If we separately call as in the field of biology, how the scientists then gradually tried to measure the sizes. For example, hairs are in the range of the microns, bacteria is on the range of nanos, viruses definitely the nanos, antibodies 10 nanometers, glucose 1 nanometers. And for the physical aspect, we see how we have already discussed how the different technologies, how the different machines came into being for different characterization of the nanomaterial synthesized or the natural one. both for the natural and for the artificial, which was synthesized for both the purposes. These machines which helps to see the accurate structure which we humans cannot see with the human eye. Definitely, as everybody must be knowing, the human eye resolution is 100 microns, and with this resolution we are not able to see the nanomaterials for sure. So for that purpose we need the microscope for the better view. Now, as per this my online MOOC course, which has been dedicated for the nanotechnology and its contributions, under that my learning objectives comprise of basically learning for the module 1. We will be having a brief concept about the nanomaterials, nanotechnology, and other aspects. History in a brief I have told, but from here part I will explaining in details how the magical area was initially also was there, but now being recognized. As per the history part is considered, we saw how the pottery or how the artisans has fabricated such a pottery which has a beautiful metallic glitter of the gold and the copper. They were initially not knowing, to be very clear, they were not knowing that was a copper or the gold. They were knowing the gold and copper, but they were not knowing that was a nanomaterial. Those days this term was so obsolete. Then came into being how this there was another product known by the name of the wood steel. There was a wonderful steel which has been what we say manufactured or somehow discovered in the Asian India only, and has a very rugged properties. The most famous example if you take from the abroad, we have the Likargus cup, the famous cup which is basically a dichroic glass, and is very popular setup it is very beautifully preserved in the British Museum, and is one of the outstanding achievements of the nanotechnology from the people of those times, our ancestors. Dichroic glass has a tendency, under the action of light, it changes the color. This cup basically has the two different colors. The glass appears green under the direct light is given. When the direct light is given, the green color, and becomes red purple when the light passes across the glass. When direct light, the glass shows the green color. When across the light is passed, it shows the red purple color. Our nature also already was containing these materials, but we were not aware of. After discovery of some nano instruments, or what we say, we were able to get to know, okay, these were also the nanomaterials. Say we have the clay structure, which was also some of the clays are in a nano form only. We got to know about it by characterizing it, and then we labeled it nowadays. Okay, nano. Similarly, in the nature, the beautiful creation of the God, the butterfly wings, when we have a view of under the microscope, we get to know these are many multi-layers of the nanostructures in the butterfly wings. And this butterfly wings shows a diffraction gratings due to the action of the induced interferences. Different multicolor, the beautiful colors of the wings of the butterfly is seen, as we all must have seen one or the other butterfly. Another in the same range, we have the famous astrological stone, the opal. This opal has a beautiful iridescent color. We can see a tinge of green, tinge of pink. So this all tinges of a beautiful color is due to the presence of the silicon nanospheres, and it is arranged in beautiful composition layers. So basically, when we wear it, we get the effects of all the components which is composed or imbibed in that particular stone. And then we date back to thanks to the Indian ancestors, the great rishis and munis, which rishis, the Ayurvedic doctors, which who have contributed towards the production of bhasmans. They have introduced a bhasm concept of either the pearl, the diamonds, the gold, and they have used these bhasmans, which are now have seen is also the one on tap in nanomaterial, for the different uses. and these buttons are also used by the people in a very user friendly manner. These are very safe to use. I must say, one of the important medicines these days. Another example which I love to mention, if we talk about the aquatic systems, we get to know the beautiful which have shells, the nacre. The nacre is the ingredient of the shells found in the aquatic ecosystem. We must have seen one of other shells in the beaches that contains a nacre, which is basically a calcium carbonate agonite. The composition calcium carbonate agonite. So it's a mix of micro and the nano, we can say. And initially also mentioned about the medieval churches, the paintings on the windows, the glass panes, the beautiful work like the nakashi of this, what we say, of the wooden work of the Sangre in India. Here we see these glass panes never fade away. Why they never fade away? When the latest research was conducted, they got to know they comprises of the nano stuffs inside them, nano blends or something. So this is also one of the remarkable and still, well read these days as a beautiful example or the exemplary example of the nano. As far as this, we have we have got to hear about various types of nanomaterials which were prevalent in the ancient times, and now, and if we talk about the nowadays, since the inception of the graphene, if we say that graphene has changed the altogether the sciences has shown the different trend in the field of nanotechnology. The graphene material has become so popular, it is classified under the carbon nanomaterials. If I give the brief, the most ancient can be the carbon nanomaterials. And however, in our nature already there are certain polymeric materials also available in nature, but this carbon history is very, very old. So as of now, for this model part, I have covered for the history part and a brief how this is useful.